Blog Talk Radio.
He is the last of his kind. All that remains of a once powerful nation. Some think he is a myth. Some believe he is the chosen one, who will bring balance to a world at war. And some will stop at nothing to destroy him.
Welcome everybody to Morris Talk Live 100. I'm your host, Tarhaka Amana El Bay. And tonight, my special guest, Dr. Walter Williams, will be answering questions and hearing your comments. The phone lines will be open immediately. And so we want to try to discuss some of what's going on inside the country and other parts of the world today. We got this virus thing going around, and we got the 5G and all of this business. So we'll get down in here and discuss some of that this evening. The number to dial into the show is 319-527-6084. Press 1 on the phone. That'll give me an indication that you got something to say, and I can open up the lines and let you in. Now, we're going to go to these commercials. When we come back, we'll be ready to go in. So y'all hold your hat a minute.
All right, everybody, brand new day, brand new start. CTFO is booming today. Get your free website and back office right now. Go to www.tarhakadebtelimination.org. That's tarhakadebtelimination.org. You know, on February 5th at sundown, we'll be in the year of the pig in 2019. That's right, that's the money year. And it's time for you to go into business for yourself. You've been saying what you're going to do. Now's the time for you to do it. Get your free website and free back office by going to www.tarhakadebtelimination.org. Look to the left. You'll see a little button say CTFO, brand new startup company, the hottest thing going in the country today. Now it's time for you to own your own company. Free back office, free website. Peace. Okay, everybody, the first day of spring is on March 19th. Let's strengthen our immune systems. We got the coronavirus thing going around. Our new debtelimination.org site is available, newdebtelimination.org. We got your moringa powder. It's ready. We got your 8-ounce sealed organic moringa powder by the jar, and it's going by the case. We also got your 10-ounce jars sealed organic moringa powder right there, newdebtelimination.org. That's newdebtelimination.org. Get your fresh moringa powder so that you can strengthen your immune system. Sprinkle a little bit on your food, or if you want to make you a smoothie on your drinks or your salad, however you want to do it, go get your moringa powder at newdebtelimination.org. And go ahead and strengthen your immune system, okay? Fight these viruses and things. Hey everybody, this is Tarhaka again. I would like to introduce you to the Great Debate. We now have copies of the Great Debate Dr. Walter Williams debates Prince Ezio ben Israel of the Hebrew Israelites. Also, Reverend Henry Hardy of one of the most prominent churches in Chicago, Illinois. Chester Blair, a major attorney in Chicago. And Munir Muhammad of the Nation of Islam. The whole thing is hosted by W.L. Lillard. Dr. Walter Williams debate these men on their belief versus what he knows for a fact and he can prove. Get your copy by going to www.tarhakadebtelimination.org. That's tarhakadebtelimination.org, or you can go to newdebtelimination.com. newdebtelimination.com. Contact me for your copies. Tarhaka here. We have our secure party and creditor package. Go to www.newdebtelimination.com. That's newdebtelimination.com. Get yourself free. Learn how to be a secured party. Learn how to be a creditor. Learn how to establish your trust. newdebtelimination.com.
All right, everybody. Now, tonight we're going to be going over the following questions. These are just a few of them. What does freedom mean to you? Now that the church is closed, what should people be doing? How much time do we have left on this old earth? What is prayer? These are just a handful of the information that we'll be discussing here this evening. And as soon as I get an indication from my guests in the queue, I'll be able to open up the line so that he can get in. But in my personal opinion, my position is, as far as this corona thing go, I ain't buying it. Now, that's just my take on it. Now, you guys, y'all might feel different about it. You might think it's real and we need to be running and ripping and all this hemp business here, but that's just your take on the situation. But something ain't right. I mean, I'm hearing all of these statistics on all these people that's diagnosed with the corona thing. And all these thousands of people that supposedly be dying, and I'm getting this information over the radio. Every once in a while they come up with some celebrity or something that's supposed to have died from the corona thing. It's always the corona now. It's you got if you're gonna have a pandemic or an epidemic, then you got to make sure you're consistent talking about the corona thing, and nobody else is dying from anything else, just corona. Nobody's dying from cancer anymore. Nobody's dying from any flus. Nobody is all of a sudden is 24 hours a day, corona. I don't even cut on the TV because I know I cut that on. They don't tell him what the heck you gonna hear. Yeah, all day long with that. But nevertheless, my guest is in the queue. I'm gonna open up his phone line so he can get in. Area code 773. Dr. Williams, are you with me?
Yes, I'm here, Brother Tarhaka. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, sir. I hear you loud and clear. I have somebody else with the hand raised over at area code 312. I'm going to open up that line, too. Area code 312, you're on the air.
Hey, yes, sir. Brother Yoel here at Tarhaka.
Welcome, my brother. Welcome. Man, we got to discuss this here thing, man. This
we got
this corona business. What's your take on it,
sir.
Dr. Williams?
Well, that's not my subject, Brother Tarhaka. My subject is religion, religious literature, such as the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, things like that. And I think that from last time we were on 2 weeks ago, I gave a narrative history on Christianity. And a lot of people were left with questions that they needed answered. So I'm on tonight to answer those questions. I was unaware of, the switching in our subject matter. So I have to take a knee on that one. Have to bow out on that one.
Okay. Well, if there's anybody that got any questions for Dr. Williams in regards to his specialty, press 1 on your phone, and open up the line, and you can ask your question. We did a fantastic job on our last broadcast, Dr. Williams. You laid it out from start to finish, the whole thing, and it's been like a ghost town around here where I am. The churches is supposed to be Easter Sunday. I didn't see no activity, and the churches are closed. And so I'm wondering, what is it that these people are doing now that they can't go to church?
Good question.
So
that's a good question.
Yeah. So they was jumping and shouting until the corona thing struck, and now the churches are empty. I be online looking at the different little photographs and videos and stuff where they're empty. The Pope, he got a big old church over there, and he in there just practically by himself. He ain't got no congregation. Nobody's gathering out in the big square that how they usually gather out there. He don't have that no more. That's shut down. So this is a major situation. Brother Yoel, what you got to lay on the table this evening?
Well, in regards to coronaviruses, I think there's multiple things going on here, multiple narratives, dynamics, or whatever you want to call them, going on with respect to this stuff here. And I think they're blaming them on the corona, but I don't think that it's all about corona. I don't think that the coronavirus is all that we have to worry about right now either. I think there's some other things that he got going on all at the same time. So knowing after spending years of looking at how these people operate, it makes sense that, first of all, they ain't going to pass up a good opportunity. This is a good opportunity as they see it. I think Rahm Emanuel was the last one that I heard say, never waste a good opportunity here in Chicago. Something happened in Chicago, and he took full advantage of that opportunity. So nationwide and worldwide, supposedly, I think they're not going to waste a good opportunity to do some other things, implement some other things right now, and then blame some things on corona too, because I have a friend who works in the medical industry, and he told me just yesterday that some of the doctors that he spoke to, one of the doctors he spoke to said that they had him to label something that was not coronavirus 19, COVID-19. And so the man didn't technically die. He was a black guy. He didn't die from coronavirus, but they labeled it that. And they told him to label it that. So, you got a lot of stuff that's going on here, conspiracy going on, all kinds of conspiracy with respect to trying to implement their programs. That's what I think is going on. I mean, look at it. We've been reading about it, talking about it, and everything else. They say what? Novus ordo seclorum, order out of chaos. Or they call it the Hegelian dialectics. Cause a problem, watch the reaction, and come with a solution. So I think they doing all of that right now, and part of that, of course, is these implants that they like to move forward to and implant the population in America. And I believe it was under Obama, when he was a senator, he sponsored a bill calling for the mandatory microchipping of all humans in the country. That was when he was a senator. But nobody paid it attention because that wasn't happening, and they didn't see this kind of stuff. You know, nothing like that. No moves made toward that, bringing that to fruition. So, of course, now it's already on the where they can say, well, hey, you know, we put enough fear in them and we scare them enough with enough death, they may be ready to take a shot or inoculation, and we might be able to shoot this microchip inside of them. You know, so you got all of that kind of stuff that's going on. You know, they want to do that. They want to eliminate 500 million people off the planet. Operation population, depopulation, I mean. And, you know, one of the protocols of the learned elders of Zion is get rid of the useless eaters of the world. So you got all that could be playing out in this thing too, you know. So, and then I understand that the 5G technology is involved in this. It's really that radiation being beamed off of those antennas that they're installing that they want to utilize, and they need to be put in place because they intend to come with some kind of warrior robots and stuff like that. But I implore the people who are listening in the audience to believe nothing of what I'm saying and research it for yourself. The question is what we're going to do about it, because somebody just sent me yesterday a text of some brothers in Nigeria who have somehow passed on a little clip of some brothers in Nigeria who saying no to 5G technology, and they burning down the antennas over there in Nigeria and saying we will not allow 5G technology here and all of that kind of stuff. And this 5G technology is supposed to be tied into these warrior robots that they created, and they've been showing you through television programs and everything else that they want some entity that will be able to do exactly what they say, won't question what they say, you know, or anything like that, you know, that a human would do. So they working on or in other words, artificial intelligence now. So to implement that would be a good time to get that in order too. So you got a lot of dynamics going on here that could be happening with this. But I also just mentioned to a couple of people that they have a brother on the radio here that was kind of controversial here in Chicago. They just labeled him as dying from coronavirus, and another one supposedly have it and all that kind of stuff, you know. So, you know, so you got a lot of stuff going on here. It's chaos, like I said, you know, order out of chaos.
Well, I've talked to some folks, and they told me that they don't know where they are getting all of these numbers for all of these people supposedly be dying all over the planet, all over the country, and but there's nobody in the hospital. So like you say, you do the research. I've been working on it quite extensively lately, and I've been running across quite a bit of information. And so I got a couple of plugs. I got one guy, these two politicians, and one Asian politician, he outright asked the guy outright, hey, man, is this coronavirus a hoax? Outright. and he gave any kind of answer but the right answer. I'm going to run this little quick plug, and I'll be right back. Hold on.
Well, praise the Lord. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. This is Pastor Jenkins, and I'm coming through with a message in the light and in the face of these challenging times that we're having here in our country and in our community. As many of you know already, our governor has asked and banned, actually, all gatherings of 250 people or more. And we're going to honor the request and obey the request of the governor. The Bible tells us clearly that we ought to be submitted.
Do you agree with Donald Trump's chief of staff, Mulvaney, that the coronavirus is the hoax of the day?
The State Department is doing everything it can to protect American citizens around the world.
Do you believe coronavirus is the hoax?
I'm not going to comment on what others say.
I'm just asking you, do you believe the coronavirus is a hoax?
I'm just telling you what the Secretary of State is doing.
Do you believe the coronavirus is a hoax?
We're working to keep people safe.
You can't even answer that question?
Yeah.
It's it's not even a gotcha question. You believe the coronavirus is a hoax?
It's a gotcha moment. It's not useful.
Is the coronavirus a hoax? Can you just answer that question?
We're taking it seriously. This is
right.
This is
are you
serious.
At 12:15 today? Are you in fact yourself speaking at CPAC? At 12:15 today, are you speaking?
Yes, I am. I'm planning.
All right. So you can only give 2 hours to this bipartisan group of members of Congress, and instead of answering questions on life and death issues from a bipartisan group of America's representatives, you're going to go talk to a special interest group.
Yes.
You, sir, represent all Americans, not a special interest group. It is shameful. You can't even answer basic questions. I yield back.
Oh, well. All right.
Oh, well.
Was it a hoax? Well, we're doing everything. No, that's not what we
Well, you know what, man? I can't see that being a hoax. I don't think this is being a hoax. I think that it sounds more plausible to me for him to have some people actually have that happening at the same simultaneously while something else is happening too. That makes more sense to me. So in other words, Corona could be real, but he also got some other things that's going on as well. And it may not be as bad as he may be saying it is. But however, he got some other things still, again, going on. You know what I mean? So, because, I mean, that would be a good opportunity to do that. Somebody else put it this way. They say, well, see, if you don't create the virus and send the virus in here and make a big hoop to do about the virus, then if they install the 5G antennas and you find out that the radiation is causing you a problem and whatnot from the 5G technology, then you can sue them for that. But if you don't, so that means that they may have to stop installing those things. But if they send out a virus first, something that they can tell you that these people and these things are happening to it that they're dying from, then you can't sue a virus, but you can sue the people if they came out without the 5G. I mean, without the coronavirus out there, and you just have 5G technology, then they may have a problem, and the public might become too aware of their radiation being kicked off by that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it seems to me that, like I said, I think they would be doing a little bit of both, or a little bit of everything right now, taking full advantage of this opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dr. Williams, you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Because there's been a whole lot of, since this thing has come about, there's been a whole lot of people talking about we need to pray. So, in your opinion, could you tell us what prayer is? What is that?
Well, prayer is a form of begging. That's all it is, a form of begging. Human beings have no right to beg. You don't have to beg. What are you begging for, and who are you begging to? Who are you praying to? Because prayer for all of humanity have not worked. Okay? Now, you go into these churches and you pray to this dead white image on the cross they call Jesus the Christ. And you pray for protection from this white image. And when you come out of church, this prayer and this praying and this God that you're praying to gives you no protection. What do I mean by that? This God allowed this white male to put us into slavery. After you pray for protection for your personal self, your family, and all of the people on earth. Okay? So therefore, this God that you're praying to and the prayers that you're praying is not protecting you from this white male from putting African people into slavery and lynching us as a people. That didn't stop that. This praying and this God that you're praying to did not stop the white male from initiating Jim Crow against us as an African people. This praying, this God that you're praying to in these churches and in these mosques, and this God that you call Allah, and this God that you call Yahweh and Jehovah, it's not doing us any good. Because this God and these prayers that you're praying to this God did not stop Dylan Roof from coming to Mother Emanuel's church in South Carolina and murdering 9 people. Didn't stop that. So I can go on and on and on. There was the situation in New Orleans some years back where God did not stop the levees from breaking. That's the tsunami. And that by the levees breaking there in New Orleans caused many, many thousands of people to get drowned, to lose their lives, to be held up in a stadium that's had no human facilities in there, but maybe a bathroom, and that's it, for thousands of people in there. So praying is a wasteful thing. So praying, you can't show me anything where prayer has eliminated anything. You talk about the coronavirus today. Where's God? Where's your praying facilities? These people that are dying due to this virus, they pray. They're Christians. They're people of all faiths. So therefore, these religions and the religious God that's attached to these various religions is not doing us or the people or humanity any good. So praying is a form of begging. So if you want to pray, fine. I can't stop you. Okay? But it is a form of begging, and it's a waste of time. That's my take on it. Brother Tarhaka.
Okay, well, Dr. Williams, in your opinion, what does freedom mean to you?
Freedom means to me knowing the truth. Once you know the truth, they said, will make you free. So I'm constantly seeking truth because I want to continually to be free. I want to continue that freedom. And the only way I can do that is that I have to acquire knowledge and get back to the basics of reality. And the basics of reality is that I need to know, as an African living in the United States of America, along with 47 million or 53 to 55 million Africans living here. I need to know the truth about my ancestors, our ancestors. I need to know the name of our ancestors, because at this point, as I speak, we Africans in this country do not know who our ancestors are. We have no one identity for our ancestors, so therefore we have no national identity as a group of people, not individuals. I'm not talking about individuals. I'm talking about a group of people, 47 million to 53, 55 million Africans living in this country. So therefore, we need to know what happened to our African ancient Egyptian ancestors after the Greeks came in. We need to know that the only link in the chain of the African diaspora is a missing link. That missing link will lead you back to a people in this country who identify themselves as Black, Negro, and African Americans. So therefore, if the words Black and Negro is synonymous, which it is, came from a Spanish name given to an African people of ancient Egyptian heritage. And then African Americans is a name created right here in America. So therefore, those names that you call yourself will lead you back to a certain point. African Americans, Black, and Negro leads you back to your ancestors being into slavery. Now, but now that's where they want you to be. I'm talking about the system that we live in this country. They want us to be in that position of confusion. They don't want us to know the truth. Again, the truth, if you know it, it will make us free. So therefore, we are more than a slave by way of our ancestors being put into slavery in this country. We are more than that. So who are we as a people? Now, that's a truth that we need to follow and find out where we stand as a people, as an African people in this country, 47 million to 53, 55 million of us in this country. So we are more than a Negro, a Black person, or an African American. Who are we? We cannot go back to Africa. No place in Africa can we 53, 55, 47 million Africans from this country, the United States of America, go back. We can't go back there and go into Nigeria and say, hi, we're home. There's no place for us. You see, every country in Africa is occupied. But now there's an empty chair at the table of nations that is unoccupied. And we need to fill that and sit in that chair and fill that vacancy and that void. Now, meaning that we have to go back and claim ancient Egypt. You see, you're looking for a people. Yes, that's true. You're looking for an African people. Yes, that's true. But you got to remember this. Civilization came from Africa. Civilization came from Africa. Remember that. For all of humanity. It didn't come from China. It didn't come from India. It didn't come from Europe. It didn't come from Mexico. It didn't come from the Philippines. It didn't come from no place on earth, but came out of Africa. Where about in Africa? In a country called Egypt. From the culture of a people known in history as the ancient Egyptians. That's where we got to get back to, and that is the truth out here. Truth shall make you free. So we have to get back and find our way back to ancient Egypt and claim our greatness. It's unclaimed in the continent of Africa. Okay? We need to claim that. And then we need to go before the world and tell the world that we are the descendants of the ancient Egyptians, because what happened is that you keep telling the world that you are an African American, that you are black, that you're a Negro, and every name that you call yourself, there's a history attached to that name. And the history that's attached to Negro, black, African American is one ancestor who has been enslaved in the United States of America. Now, the history that's attached to you calling yourself ancient Egypt and claiming your greatness is lying unclaimed in the continent of Africa, that history is telling you and telling the world that from your ancestors' culture, that the ancient Egyptians' culture came forth civilization for all of humanity. And that's where we need to be, okay? And that is the truth. And that's what truth means to me. Finding your way back to ancient Egypt and finding our way to free our minds of this confusion that's out here. It's abounding all throughout our African community. It's abounding all throughout the world as I speak. So we are the missing link in that African diaspora, that chain that's out there. And we have no place in the continent of Africa because what they did when the founding thieves took this country from the Indians and the Africans that was living over in this hemisphere, they set this country they call the United States of America up as a replica of ancient Egypt. If you go into Washington, D.C., and you go around Washington, D.C., you will see all the evidence of, and by the way, of evidence by way of artifacts and monuments and other things that will tell you that they set this country up and modeled it after ancient Egypt. Tony Browder, the scholar out of Washington, D.C., wrote a book called Egypt on the Potomac. That book, I advise everybody to get that book, and it will show you through the book how and where you can find all these different monuments that is replicated from ancient Egypt. You don't have to go too far to find the replication of ancient Egypt. All you have to do is look in your wallets, your pocketbooks, your purses, and get out your dollar bill. The greatest monument is on the back of that dollar bill that has ever been built by man, by our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, or Africans, over in Egypt during the time of antiquity. They built the greatest monument by using a mathematical formula that has never been revealed to humans today. And you look on the back of that dollar bill, you'll see a picture of the Great Pyramid back there. It's there. That comes out of ancient Egypt. That came out of the culture of our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. You see, at the top of that pyramid, you see a round orange ball up there. That's the sun coming over every morning out of the east over that pyramid as I speak at this very moment. And at the top of the pyramid is where we, as an African people, and as a descendant of the ancient Egyptians, that's where we need to be. That's our position. So we have to know and find our way back to ancient Egypt. We have to know that our ancestors are the ancient Egyptians. We have to claim our greatness because it's lying unclaimed in the continent of Africa, waiting for its descendants to come back. And we need to know what happened to our African ancestors after the Greeks came into Egypt. That's what we need to know. That's the truth. That's where our power is. That's our power base. It's lying right there. All we have to do is claim it. So that would be my answer to you, Brother Tarhaka.
Okay, so now that the churches are closed and all this stuff, would be a excellent opportunity for the people to do the research on the stuff that you just told us.
Correct.
They don't have to be in there listening to nobody else. They get right there on the computer or get the books or whatever, and actually get to the bottom of the truth instead of somebody jumping and screaming and shouting at them every Sunday and taking their money. It'll be an excellent time period. We got plenty time on our hands. They say you supposed to stay indoors, and that way you won't be able to see the installations of the EMF technology towers going up. And you're supposed to you're not supposed to gather around only a few people at a time, and all kind of stuff going on. They got plenty of time to do the research on this thing.
That's correct.
What you think, Brother Yoel?
Well, about having the time, or what?
Yeah.
Professor Williams was saying. Having the time, yeah, they got plenty of time. They usually throw them up during the night when you're sleeping anyway. But they are definitely going up. So they ain't going up in the daytime, and I think there's something wrong with that. Anytime you got to sneak and put something up in the night, it must be a problem with it, that you got to do it at nighttime. You know, that's suspicion in itself. But, you know, I'll tell you something. I was in Jewel's earlier today, one of the grocery stores here, and the guy was talking about what's going on with the social distancing and all this kind of stuff. And this guy was talking about how they hit on the smallpox shot, and then then one of the guys said, well, I just went and got me a shingle shot. I say, why would you go get a shingle shot when you got the shingles because of the first shot you got was smallpox? And the shingles come years later after you had already got the one that they shot you with for smallpox. So why would you go and get another shot? You trust him still to get another shot from him. Why would you do something like that? And he couldn't say nothing. But I said, in my opinions, and I'm talking to them now, I said, brother, is that, you know, if we should be the most cautious people in America here as black folks, because there's too many times being showed us that these people been doing things to us, like the Tuskegee syphilis experiment and stuff like this, through medicine and inoculations that causes us problems. So why would you trust somebody like that to go and get another shot for something that you wouldn't even have the shingles if you hadn't got the smallpox shot in the first place? And he just couldn't answer that question. He had, apparently he gave him no thought to having to go do something like that. But, you know, so I it's really sad to see us be so ignorant that we don't even give thought to these people, as if they still got carte blanche trust with us based on some facts, and they facts must be wrong or mine one, because we have, with all the facts that we got in that I guess they're ignorant of, and nobody's told them this, we still trusted of this man and his system. That behooves me, man. I mean, that's just it's amazing. And then when you raise the issue with your own family will look at you crazy, like something is wrong with you, that you ain't one of them and trusting like them. That's sad, man. That's really heartbreaking to me, man. That's really, really heartbreaking to me. You know, to look at my people and the pain and the hurt on their faces, but yet they still trusting of a system by somebody who's demonstrated nothing but actions that should demonstrate distrust of him. We still trust him like that. You know, so that's just it really messes me up, and I you know, it discombobulated me mentally as to how somebody can be that way. And then, like I say, you know, when you look at your own family, and sometimes it might be daughters or sons or brothers or sisters we talking about here, you talking to about this stuff, and they'll be looking at you crazy too.
Oh yeah.
So,
well,
it's messed up.
You know, we all
messed
got
up.
them, and you're absolutely correct. And you present them with the truth. You just present them with common sense, and they seem to get mad at you. I noticed that when them little boys, little white boys over there in Australia set the outback on fire here recently, and burn up all them trees and all them thousands and thousands of animals. They tell me these many millions of animals we lost, these many trees we lost. But I don't recall them making one single statement on the media about one Aboriginal person dying. Not one.
Whole truth, brother. Whole truth. That's right.
You tell me about the trees. You constantly talking about the animals, but you're not going to mention the owner, the natives of this land, as if they never existed. They don't exist. They didn't die. Nobody died. And, man, this is amazing to me.
Or nobody's interested in them or something.
Well, I know that every time it's time to elect a new president, or we get a new president, there's a brand new virus to match. Every single time. When they elected Barack Obama president of the United States, we had the Ebola epidemic. Then we come out with this swine flu. And then we had the list go on and on and on. And every time is when we elect a new president. It's amazing.
Yes,
now we got Donald Trump and we got Corona. Nobody dying from cancer anymore. Nobody dying from no other disease but the Corona.
Let me interject something in what you just said though before you go further. I had a guy send me an email, told me it was that they were going to do a kind of a meditation during a certain time of the day for those people for the Australian thing and what was going over there and the burning and stuff, like the damages they've done. And I had the same revelation that you had, which you just said, that I didn't see no media saying anything about the Aboriginal people of that land and what effect that had on them. But yet this brother sent me an email saying something about meditation for a moment during a certain time of day on a certain day for them people on what was going on with the burning and over there. Brother, I was trying to fan the fire. I was trying to blow a wind strong enough, a breath strong enough to blow all the way over there and blow and burn up some more. Burn up some more of them people over there. You know, that's the way they done killed and murdered and maimed them people over there. And you want me to feel sorry for you? I call that karma. You did that, and like as you say, I never knew that it was the white boys who started it and all of that. But hey, you know, and I'm supposed to be sorry for them? No, sir, I don't think so. Absolutely not. So go ahead, though, bro. Go ahead.
Well, I tell you what, man. I went in. There's been so much hoopla about the EMF technology in the towers, so I downloaded an app with a radiation detector, and I went outside and held it up out there. I didn't run into nothing. I guess around here where I'm at, there is nothing. But I noticed that when I aimed it at my keyboard here, the numbers went to going off the chart.
Wow. Wow.
I got it. Went over there to the stereo. Ain't it at the two speakers? Nothing. Ain't it at the stereo where to play the music? Nothing. But when I ended at them two woofers, boy, when they're going off the chain. I said, oh, I got it over here too. I went to unplug that stuff living right around. Oh, man. But doing the investigation, that's what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, we got plenty of time now. So everybody's supposed to be in the house. Everybody's supposed to be, 6 feet apart. Your husband or wife come home, you got to be 6 feet away from them. And so I guess you'll fix you a plate of food and get a stick and slide across the table to you. Oh, boy. I went in the grocery store. All right, now, we know that people naturally have viruses in their system, just naturally. Until you flush your system out, that's going to be there. But I walked into the grocery store the other day. It is packed. People running around. They got baskets full of food. They got masks on their face. I walked over there to the fruit and vegetable section because that's what I eat. And I was over there by myself. And everybody just started running. One white guy coming there. This dude, he had to be at least 6'10", about 260, 270. He running. He got on a blue scarf around his face, like he just come from robbing a train, and ran right past the fruit and vegetable section. And him and his little wife running behind him, and they get over there to the hot dog and the sausage and bologna and spice ham and neck bones. I said, boy, if he ain't got corona, when he get home, we gonna have it. When he eat that. Told the wife, get one of them hams over there. Hurry up. I said, man, this is amazing.
Well,
everybody's supposed to be 6 foot apart. I always heard, together we stand, and divided we fall. That's what I always heard.
Well, anybody got any questions for the professor?
All right, the number
here today.
Number to dial into the show, 319-527-6084. If you have a question or you want to give us a comment, press 1 on your phone, and I will open up the line so you can get in. 319-527-6084. Press 1 on your phone and give me an indication you got something to say. Okay, we got a call at 313. Where is that? Uh-oh. Okay, it's supposed to be down here.
That's Detroit, I believe, somewhere around Michigan.
323, you on the air. Okay, no comment. Let me go down here.
323, that's California.
All right. Air code 313. You have a question or comment for our guest? 313. Okay, I don't know what that is. I'm finna cut that back off. But if you got a question, comment, go ahead and press 1 on the phone. That'll give me an indication that you got something to say. Dr. Williams, you want to give us any more information before I go to another commercial break?
Well, we're talking about 2 subjects, though.
Uh-huh.
There's Easter. Last weeks ago.
Well, let us have it, man.
2 weeks ago, I gave a narrative on the history and origin of Christianity. And today, we're supposed to have a program that will follow up from the last program that we just finished on the 29th of March. So therefore, when I get here, we're talking about something that's not related to the subject that we're supposed to be talking about.
All right. Well, go ahead, and like I said, we'll listen to what you have to say.
I know, but I've said before, this is not my subject. I don't know anything about. I can't talk on and expound on the coronavirus or any other virus. That's not my specialty. You see, and that's not what this program is supposed to be all about today. You know, we're supposed to be talking about the history and origin of Christianity, which I narrated over 2 hours 2 weeks ago. And today, since the day being Easter, it was brought to your attention that we should have a program for today, a special program for people who want to ask questions or make comments about Easter, about the narrative that I did on Christianity on March the 29th, et cetera, et cetera. That's where we should be. You see? Now, coronavirus, we can't do anything about it. We talk about it and give you ideas about it. But that's not helping us right now. We need to know truth by way of facts. We need to know something about our ancestors by way of the ancient Egyptians. We need to know what happened to our ancestors, ancient Egyptians, after the Greeks came into Egypt. We need to know something about today being Easter and know something that Christianity, when it was transferred into Europe, that today people out here who are Christians and the world is getting European Christianity, and they're not getting the historical origin of Christianity that was created for the European in Egypt and Northeast Africa. Okay, 1,589 years ago. That's where we need to be. So this coronavirus is not my subject. I don't know anything about that. I don't pretend to know anything about it. Okay, I'm just trying to keep myself alive and keep my family and friends alive and informed about how they can take care of themselves by way of health-wise. So that we're talking on a subject, at least for me now, I know nothing about. So that's what I have to say, brother.
Okay. Could you expound on Easter?
I have a guest that is waiting to come on to expound on Easter, today's event. So I want them to come on. I asked them to come on to do just that. So I don't know if they're still there because we went into another.
Press 1 on the phone. That'll give me an indication that they're in the queue, but I don't have any indication yet. So if they just press 1 on the phone, I'll open up the phone line so they can get in. Okay, we have a call at 313. Area code 313. Tell us who you are, where you're calling from, what's your question or comment. 313.
Yes. This is Nedaka Tamari New, better known as Nzinga. I'm a friend of Professor Williams, a long-time friend. And I am from the Return to My Art movement. Until we go back to my art, the 7 principles of my art, we don't need the white man's religion. What we need is to pay attention to our own spirituality, as Professor Williams has always said, that we have from birth. And the 7 cardinal virtues of my art, until we go back there and apply those to our daily lives and live those out, these virtues are thousands of years old, before Christianity, Mohammedanism, and all those religions, Johnny-come-latelys, was ever thought about. And sometimes you have to go backwards in order to go forward. Returning to my art will be crucial to thrive on this planet for us. Now, the 7 cardinal virtues of my art are justice, harmony, balance, order, reciprocity, propriety, and truth. And when we apply these to our lives, the Creator will be pleased with us, and we will be able to thrive on planet Earth. I just want everybody to know that, and to know that my master teacher just passed away. He went to his other home. He transitioned, and I'm talking about the wonderful, wonderful master teacher, Marduk Bell Sheffy. And I know that he has another building. When this building has decayed, we have another building not made by hand. And I want to give him honor. I want to give him love and wish him well on his journey. Thank you so much for letting me comment. And when we get these principles and live by them and teach our children, this is an opportunity, really, staying home, because many parents and grandparents have their grandchildren at home because the schools are closed. And this would be an opportunity for us to enlighten them and indoctrinate them in ancient Egypt, and which was called Kemet, which means blacks. And I don't mean just black, I mean coal black. And we put this Osiris mythology together, and that's what the world has now. We brought forth to the world one God. We always had one God. And when we do this, the Creator will be pleased with us, and we will thrive and prosper. And that's what I'm for. And thank you so much for letting me speak today. And we're going to do this for the children, because we do everything for the youth and the children. That's our future, the children. And we must concentrate on them and let them know their history. It's a wonderful, wonderful history. And let them know that everything they see on the planet came from the African mind. Not that we made everything physically, but the prototype came from the African mind, the computer and the washing machine and the ironing board, and just so many wonderful, wonderful things that we use every day, and we don't even know that the black mind brought them forth. So let us get our children together, our grandchildren together, and teach this wonderful history. And if you want me to mail you some information, Professor Williams knows my address. I would be glad to mail you some information so you will have something to teach by. I have it all here in my apartment, and I do this. I've been doing it for 60 years, so I should know how to do it by now. And thank you, Professor Williams. I love you and your wife because you haven't deterred one iota from your message. When I met you many, many, many years ago, you're still on the front lines, and I appreciate you so much and love you so much. Thank you so much for letting me express myself.
You are quite welcome, sister. What did you say your name was again?
Well, my teacher named me Netaka Talmeri Noob. Now, Netaka is a sacred spirit, and Talmeri Noob is one of the names of Kemet, now called Egypt. So, but people call me Mother Nzinga, and I'm 85 years old, and I'm still on the front lines. I had wonderful, wonderful teachers, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, Dr. Asar Hilliard, which you all know in Chicago well. And so I really have been sitting under wonderful, wonderful teachers, Professor Williams included. And I do this work because not for money. I don't accept money for pay, but I do it for the love of my people.
That's correct. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, and Mother Nzinga, I certainly appreciate your call, and I'm like to extend my condolences to my brother.
Yes.
Bill, and it was a shock when you called me this morning to give me that bad news. But I hope the family is holding up well under the circumstances. So my condolences need to be sent to the family of Maduk Bell. And Mother Nzinga, if you can do me a favor by keeping me informed as to the arrangements.
I will.
Okay, and if they need any help, I would be glad to give them help.
All right, I will tell his wife that.
And if there's a fundraiser for him, please include me and my wife, Arnetta, in that fundraiser.
Oh,
okay?
we certainly will do it.
Because every time I come to Detroit,
which I hope will be soon.
Right.
We love you in Detroit.
I feel that, and I hope you feel the same love that I have for you personally, and for the Detroiters there, my outer Chicago family, because they
yes, indeed,
really welcomes me when I come to Detroit. Me and my wife.
Oh yes, it's a wonderful time when you come.
Right, and when I can remember the time that I was on a radio show that you had arranged for me to meet the brother Maduk Bell, and I met him on the phone for the very first time. And,
yes, indeed.
And I have
and he loved you. He talked about you all the time.
Right, and I loved him too because I knew that he was a genuine, great teacher. Because this is what
he was.
He told me, he said, I'm going to take the cotton out of my ears and put it into my mouth. I'm going to listen to you.
He had a wonderful sense of humor.
Right. But, see, he didn't have an ego where he thought he knew everything.
That's right.
He was willing to listen and hopefully to learn something.
That's right. When I first met him and went to his class, I've only known him 8 years, and he had class every Saturday. And, we learned so much, and I have so many of his DVDs. He gave it to us for free for a donation. And I have them. I was going through them today because I wanted to send you some of them so you could have them and watch him in action.
I certainly appreciate that, Mother Nzinga. Certainly appreciate that. If you can do that for me, I certainly appreciate it.
Well, again, I certainly will.
My condolences go to the family of Maduk Bell. He was a great man. I respected him. I loved him. And in turn, he loved me. I can feel that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Person. He was a very, very genuine, down-to-earth person. No
yes,
pretend,
he was.
No ego, none of that. It was just
That's right.
So keep me informed, my dear.
I certainly will do it. And thank you so much for having me on your program.
Okay, and thank you for calling in. Appreciate you.
All right.
You know.
And I know you remember Dr. Leonard Fouché.
I heard that name.
He was supposed to call in also. I called him and told him about the programs today.
Okay.
And he said he would call in.
Okay, I hope you'll call in and give us a shout-out.
I hope so. All right.
Thanks so much now. Me'at Hotep.
All right. Me'at Hotep.
Me'at Hotep, sister. Okay. We got a caller with his hand raised at area code 910. 910, you're on the air. You tell us who you are, where you're calling from, what's your question or comment.
Good evening. This is Tamika. Hey, Dr. Williams.
Hey, Tamika. How you doing today?
I'm holding up. The front. I was talking to I hear fire. I don't know. Let me let that siren pass. Okay, so yes, I was talking to some Christians. Well, they were talking to me and they were asking me, how we have to be prayerful in a time of this virus, and this is one of the plagues of God, and so forth and so on, and again we so we still revolve back to the old issue of the actual origin of Christianity, and how the belief system, their belief is so strong that they won't begin to even recognize or even question the religion, to the extent, they have so much faith in this religion, believing that God will bring them through this. But at the same time, they won't do what's necessary to stay safe, nor are they really trying to understand the bigger picture of what's going on here. And I'm not trying to veer off the subject of Christianity, because I know Dr. Williams wants to stay on this, but what I just want to say is the belief itself has a way of blinding us to the real facts of our situation, to the realities of our situation. And the coronavirus is just one of those examples of how, the government is on their job. The European is constantly on his job at keeping us oppressed, so that we don't want to reach out or do any research on topics like the coronavirus, like the origin of syphilis, the origin of with the Tuskegee experiment, the origin of AIDS, as Dr. Boyd E. Graves wrote about in his book. We don't want to, question things. And that's the problem with Christianity. And then again, Easter is here. Today is Easter. A lot of happy Easter today. You get that a lot today, people calling or whatever. But, Easter is after a goddess, a Greek goddess, and it deals with sex, and people don't, again, the origin of things. I think, the whole belief system of religion, especially with Christianity, I say at least, Muslims, they tend to go more into the black Muslims go into the black history a little bit more, yet it's all stifling. But it causes us to stay, in the dark on the origins of things. We don't understand the origin. We don't realize, and we won't even begin to accept that there is a plan to exterminate us. And, it's really sad because we deny reality. We deny ourselves the possibility of growth. Because like Dr. Williams has said in the past, which is really awesome, is that, we need to do away with the Christianity. Take those churches and turn them into schools, learning centers. And, we'll never get to that point if we stay caught up in the belief. We'll never grow past, we'll never be able to develop community. And those, using those buildings as schools is one step towards building communities, build and developing entrepreneurship within our own community. I mean, all of that is, very important, but we'll never get there if we keep believing in religion, because religion keeps us so much separate. And it's not that it keeps us separate, but it's also a lie. They don't want to hear the facts, about the ancient ancestors in Kemet, how Alexander Greek came in there. They don't want to deal with, this is a fact, Jesus Christ evolved from a creation of Serapis due to the Plototomies creating this. I mean, this is a fact. And, our people are just not, they're not here with us mentally. And it's sad because it keeps us really locked out of, living a better lifestyle, trying to fight for justice and peace. And we can't fight if we're going to continue to medicate with religion, self-medicate and numb ourselves and pray ourselves out of reality. These pastors, they're constantly Jesus Christ and me on the phone. And ministers, I don't want to hear that all the time. I don't want to hear it at all, but that's what I have to say.
Okay.
That's very good, Tamika. Very, very good. Your words are very enlightening. And keep up the good work, my dear. Keep studying. Keep your path towards ancient Egypt. Keep walking towards ancient Egypt. Keep walking towards that pyramid, and you'll get there. Once you get there, and you're already there, I hope you have your ankh in your hand. In fact, you do have your ankh in your hand because you do not accept Christianity. Christianity will only give you a cross in your hand that symbolizes death. But you laid that down, and you picked up this symbol of the ankh, which symbolizes life. So keep up the good work. I'm very proud of you. I remember where you started in your studies, and just keep up doing what you're doing. So I appreciate you calling, and I appreciate you as a human being. So keep it up, keep it up, keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, my dear.
All right. Mayard Hotel.
Mayard Hotel.
Okay. Underground Bookstore.
What you say, brother? I heard of that bookstore before.
Man, and get them books you got over there.
Well, you can email me at theundergroundbookstore@gmail.com, theundergroundbookstore@gmail.com, or undergroundbookstore1@gmail.com. Underground Bookstore 1, @gmail.com, and you can call me at 773-768-8869, 773-768-8869. Those are the telephone number. So those are the ways you can get in contact with me. So we'd be more than happy to get some of this material out here to the people out there who are seeking information in a time when we should be seeking that information. So for those who are thirsty and have the fever to want to know the truth, then give us a call.
Dr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
How can we get a hold of your book?
Well, you can get my two books, Historical Origin of Christianity, which is the thesis of that book, is saying that there's never been a man that ever walked the earth in human form of any race, creed, or color by the name of Jesus Christ. It's a myth. My second book is called The Historical Origin of Islam. The thesis of that book is saying that there's never been a man that ever walked the earth in human form by the name of Prophet Muhammad of Islamic tradition. Now, those books, the Christianity book has been out for 26, going on 27 years, and the Islam book has been out for 17 years. So you can get both books at the Underground Bookstore, and you can contact Brother Yoel. He gave you his contact number and his email address. And again, I'll say and reiterate his phone number, where you can buy both of my books, Historical Origin of Christianity, Historical Origin of Islam, is 773-768-8869.
Put that over there.
It's the Underground Bookstore. You can get my books there. And another thing, I don't think Yoel put this in about his bookstore. He's able to get rare books also, and books out of print for you. So you have a book that it's hard to get for you, call Brother Yoel. He'll get it for you. And another way you can buy my books is through Amazon, through Barnes and Nobles, or you can go to your local African bookstore, and they should have copies of my book. So that's how you can get my books. And then if you want to contact me, you can email me at ancientegyptian@msn.com. Ancient, ANCIENT, Egyptian, EGYPTIAN @msn.com. And if you want to talk to me and correspond with me further than the email, then put your phone number there, and I'll contact you and call you back, and then we can converse from that point, and then we can go further in conversation. So that's how you can contact me, and those are the names of my two books. So, Brother Tarhaka?
All right. Dr. Williams, you want to give us a breakdown on this Easter thing so we will know where it came from? This Easter bit.
Easter is a European creation based off of the crucifixion of this Jesus the Christ. Okay? Now, on March 29th, which is 2 weeks ago, I gave you a narrative historical origin of Christianity. And I gave it to you in its entirety based off of the information and the history that was created there in Egypt and Northeast Africa for the European, because the European wanted to be made into a god. We talk about the Ptolemies and the Roman Europeans, so forth and so on. But I narrated that for you, blow by blow, step by step, and historical events to historical events. Now, when the seat of Christianity, I told you about the world's first Christian church, which was the Hagia Sophia, that was built in Northeast Africa, today called the Middle East. The word Middle East is a political name. Northeast Africa is still there on the world map. And also, the Hagia Sophia is still there, but it's not a church anymore. It is a library that was created by the United States government in 1934. But in 1439, the seat of Christianity was moved into Europe by John VIII, who went there in Florence, Italy, at the Curia there. The word Curia means college, and he relinquished what is known as a donation of Constantine. And once he did that, he allowed the seat of Christianity to be moved into Europe. And by that being done, that seat was set up there in and on the outskirts of Rome, in the suburbs of Rome, 6 years after he released the donation of Constantine to do just that. And you had 6 humanists from Florence, Italy, the college there, and you had 6 humanists from the college of Ferrara, Italy. They formed a committee, and they picked a place, chose a place on the outskirts of Rome, where they asked these African Moors to come in and build over the catacombs on the outskirts of Rome, the burial grounds. Italians buried their dead is known as the catacombs, down in the earth. So they built, today, as I speak, still standing, they built the Vatican there, and they built St. Peter's Church, which they began building in 1445. So now, when that happened, Christianity changed altogether. In other words, the world does not know the Christianity from the human beginning. Do not know how this non-human created creature called Jesus the Christ. You do not know how this nun called the Virgin Mary was created. Okay, so they don't know that this creation of these two non-humans were created at the Council of Ephesus by the Melchite Coptic Egyptians. Now, when the seat of Christianity moves out of Northeast Africa into Europe, and I'm talking about the setting up of the second seat of Christianity, which is over there today as I speak. The Pope sitting in the chair as the vicar of Christ today as I speak. The word vicar, V-I-C-A-R, means same as. In other words, the Pope sits in that chair representing himself the same as Christ, the vicar of Christ. Okay? So now, today, the world is getting Western European Christianity. Now, this is where this Easter comes in. Now, in getting Western European Christianity, they changed the whole narrative from the historical origin, as I narrated 2 weeks ago, about the history of Christianity. They changed that. They don't want the world to know anything about what happened in real human history about the creation of this non-human created creature called Jesus Christ and this non-human created creature called the Virgin Mary. They don't want that. So what they did when the seat moved out of Northeast Africa, they set up the second seat in Europe on the outskirts of Rome. And when they did that, the whole narrative changed. Now, this is how they changed it. They changed it by way of a drawing that is known as the Last Supper of this Christ. The Last Supper. Now, the Last Supper is where this Jesus the Christ is sitting at a table with 12 of his disciples having dinner or eating a supper. Okay? Now, when a person in this country or anywhere is in jail waiting to be executed, he is given the day of his execution his last supper. He can pick out any type of food he wants to eat. That's his last supper. So now here you have in Europe a scene known in history, today's history, as the Last Supper that this Christ ate with his 12 disciples. Okay? Now, I bring out this to the listening audience. If you go back into my narration of the historical origin of Christianity, as I narrated 2 weeks ago, go back into Ephesus. Where was the Serapis turned into the Christ? At the Council of Ephesus in 431. How was Serapis transformed into Christ? By the Melchite Coptic Egyptians creating a mother for this non-human Serapis at the time. So in order to have a human nature, because the argument was between the Monophysites and the Melchites, both African factions, over whether this Serapis had a human nature or not. So that's how and why they created this non-human, the Virgin Mary, in order to this created creature, Serapis, to have a human nature, and they amalgamated the two created creatures together. And once that amalgamation was done, they said, now this is the Christos, and they were speaking Greek. I'm talking about these Africans were speaking Greek because they had to learn Greek in order to communicate with the Greek invaders that came in when Alexander the Greek came into Egypt. So now they, speaking Greek, said now this is the Christos, and in English the Christos means now this is the Christ. So now here you have a Christ now having a Last Supper with 12 members of his group known as the 12 disciples. Now, the birth of this Christ was created in Ephesus in 431, and then you get up to the time of the Last Supper, is 1,045 years later. He's being set up to die. That's very strange. You have to know history in order for you to understand that. Here, this Christ was created 1,045 years before the Last Supper that he was supposed to have with his disciples. Now, where did this Last Supper come from? It came from a painting by way of Leonardo da Vinci, who was commissioned by the popes at the Vatican. So he was a resident artist at the Vatican. So he drew and created this picture that they call the Last Supper, and they attached stories to that to give to the believer so he can continue to believe that there was a Christ that was human, that he was having his Last Supper. So they'll tell you about the history, the true history of how this all came about. So now here you have a Last Supper for this Christ being painted before he is crucified. And then the next painting that they commissioned Leonardo da Vinci to draw was to draw a picture of this Christ being crucified. In other words, he is now the crucified Christ. And he put stories to that. They said that the Jews brought Jesus up to Pontius Pilate, and you know the story. And going back into the Last Supper, they said Julius Iscariot was going to betray Jesus for 30 pieces of silver, and you know the story of that. So now, it's only a drawing. And then he was commissioned to draw a picture of Mary Magdalene. And there's a story attached to Mary Magdalene, that she went to the tomb of Jesus. As she was approaching the tomb of Jesus, she noticed the stone had been rolled back, and she got up to the grave in the tomb of Jesus. She looked down in the grave, and the grave was empty, that he went on up to heaven to be with his Father God. And all that foolishness, that's European Christianity. Big difference. Now, to correspond with that, this European non-human history, which is based off of mythology and fiction, they come up with a Easter, the resurrection of Jesus the Christ. Now, something I want you Christians out here to notice is that every year there's a different date for the resurrection of a Jesus, a different date. They had a different date last year. They had a different date the year before that. They have a different date this year. They're going to have a different date next year. So if a person dies, for instance, I know the birth date that my mother passed. I know the death date that my mother passed. I know the death date of when my two wives died. I know that. The date does not change. Still the same date. Okay? So, why for this Jesus? Why is the dates changing? Why? Because of the vernal equinox. That's what they're doing, and basing this Easter off of the vernal equinox of the resurrection of the Jesus Christ. So that's part of it. But I had a person that they still may come on. I hope that we didn't run them away about talking about the virus. But anyway, I have a person coming on that can break it down and give you a little more in-depth on the vernal equinox and the resurrection of Christ during this supposed Easter time. And it's a funny thing. Why do they have to have a Easter bunny? Where do they come in at? Where's this egg coming at? So anyway, that's about that.
Okay.
Well,
your caller. All they have to do is press 1 on the phone, and that'll give me an indication that they got something to say. I can open up the phone line for them. The number to dial in is 319-527-6084. Press 1 on your phone. That'll give me an indication that you got something to say. I can open up the phone line to let you in. I'm going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Okay, y'all, let's take a look at the health benefits of moringa powder. We got it right there at newdeadelimination.org. Now, moringa powder, when it comes to the moringa benefits, there are almost too many to count, in my personal opinion. It's the delicious, spinachy, green flavored, perfect for boosting your curries, your stews, your casseroles, soups, salads, green smoothies, and much more. It's 25% plant protein, including all 9 essential amino acids, 24% fiber. It's a rich source of iron, vitamin K and E, a source of vitamin A and calcium, high in antioxidants. Moringa powder has 10 times the vitamins of carrots, 12 times the vitamin C of oranges, 17 times the calcium of milk, 15 times the potassium of bananas, 25 times the iron of spinach, and 9 times the protein of yogurt. As moringa powder is a natural source of these nutrients, it is highly bioflavorable, so your bodies can absorb the benefits more easily. NewDebtElimination.org. Get your moringa powder today. NewDebtElimination.org. Hi, everyone. This is Tarhaka. My new website is online and visible now at www.tarhakadebtelimination.org. That's TARHAKADEBTELIMINATION.org. All you have to do is subscribe by putting in your email and click send. I'll rush you my free report. That includes the information you need on big tobacco and how to get paid, much more. New website is up and running, TarhakaDebtElimination.org. Just subscribe, and I'll send you, rush you my free report, which includes everything that you'll need to know about big tobacco and much more information whereby you can make money. TarhakaDebtElimination.org. Okay, everybody, Tarhaka here again. Now, I know most of you all already know that all mortgages is illegal. But how do we go about getting rid of that mortgage debt? What about the foreclosure situation? What do we do? What steps do we take? Go to www.newdebtelimination.com. That's www.newdebtelimination.com, and so that we can assist you in solving that problem. Also, keep in mind that our new website is up and running. That's www.tarhakadebtelimination.org. That's tarhakadebtelimination.org. Got a problem with mortgages or foreclosure? NewDebtElimination.com. NewDebtElimination.com.
Okay, everybody, we back. Brother Yoel, you still with us?
Yes, sir. I'm still with you.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get with you because I got some books. I think they're out of print, and I want to see if you could locate these books for me from my library, and so I can add them in. I just picked up a few books not too long ago, but I want to make up this list of these books that I've been trying to get, and I know they're out of print. I had to gather up my notes, and I will contact you and give you the list and see if we can get some of those books.
Okay. Great.
All right.
Great.
Now let me ask you something. Do you have any input on this Easter thing? I mean, I'm curious to know where the Easter bunny came from too. Because I mean, you got a bunny rabbit with chicken eggs, and a rabbit don't lay no eggs, and that to me, that's the extent of what people will go through without questioning. I ask some people sometimes. I say, during Easter time, approximately how many Easter eggs does a bunny rabbit lay? And some of them actually try to give me an answer. How about 100, probably maybe about 75. It was amazing, man. But we don't pay attention because once again, we don't do the research. I here recently been doing quite a bit of research on our health and nutrition and stuff, because that's my specialty, and dealing with the current events and stuff like that. I have multiple things that I do, and so I been down in this, and especially down in this nutrition stuff. I got to get with Dr. Bombay, and me and him we get together and have us a good old discussion. But you have anything else that you'd like to add, Brother Yoel?
Well, you know what? First of all, let me just say that since you mentioned that, getting with somebody on health, we lost one of the soldiers in the struggle here about a week or so ago, Dr. Laila Africa.
Laila Africa. I got his book.
Yeah, so I want to acknowledge him and his contribution that he brought to the table with respect to natural healing. I brought him in Chicago several times, and way back in the past, there some years back, he was always a doctor, but he was a doctor / comedian a little bit too back in the day.
Yeah, he was.
But so I'm sad to hear that at 74 he checked out like that, and I haven't been able to get into the story as to what that had to do with anything, and whether or not that was even linked to Corona. So I don't know, but I'd just like to acknowledge that we lost that soldier there, and we need somebody in that area to step up and whatnot, and continue to do as honestly as he did, provide us with that information. And he wasn't a guy that back in that time anyway that you had to pay a whole lot of money to bring him in and stuff like that. All you had to really do was give him $300 to $500, and take him to the grocery store, and he'd get him some fruits and vegetables and show him to his room. So he was not very hard to get to like that. But I think he kind of started increasing in prices a little later on when another sister here brought him in, and she got greedy and went to charging people a lot more money, double, basically. To come listen to him and all that kind of stuff, and get his information. So my condolences go out to his family right now too, and hopefully we'll get some news on what happened, because 74 is, and you being the doctor of health, I wonder what happened there,
Well,
but in terms of,
we all got to go.
Yeah, we all ready to go.
Yeah.
But in terms of Easter and that, I think the sister kind of hit at it, the goddess of fertility, and rabbits. They say you the little saying about screwing like rabbits or something to that nature. Populating like rabbits, and that's fast. I think that's how the rabbit kind of come into this thing, but somewhat. But I don't recall what I read on that subject years ago, since it's been a long time since I even attempted to try to even recall that memory and whatnot, But it's in there when it comes to it's tied to the fertility aspect of the Easter, the whole Greek thing. So that's about all I can remember about that story right now. But, anyway, that's about it. In my little Easter speech, I used to say it when I was a shorty. That's about it. I still remember that, though.
Well,
yes.
I'm looking for the callers. If any of you all out there in the listening audience got a question, if you have a comment for our guests, go ahead and press one on the phone, and I'll open up the lines, and you can say hello to our brother Yoel and Dr. Walter Williams. We're on here right now. It's 319-527-6084. Press 1, and I'll open up the line so you can get in. How about that? Dr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
Still with me, man?
Oh,
yeah. Okay, now I got me some.
Come on, man.
I got me, man, I'm country. I got me some more questions over here.
Okay. Come on, country boy. Come on.
Wait a minute.
Show us to them country boys. Ain't nobody sicker than them country boys, okay?
Cut it out. Cut it out.
Okay.
I got a caller with a hand raised at area code 927. 927, you're on the air.
Come on.
Area code 927. 972. That's it. What I said, 927.
Yeah. That's all right. That's that dyslexia acting up on you. Hey, brother.
That's all right.
Or maybe the virus got you. Hey, listen, I was just calling in. Wanted to make a comment. Hey, Dr. Williams, how you doing?
Who is this calling?
This is Sharon.
Oh, Sharon. Hey, Sharon, how you doing, my dear?
I'm good. I hope you holding up all right.
Oh, yes, I'm here. Doing great.
Well, that's good. Well, I just wanted to call in and let you guys know I was surprised y'all did a show today, and I hadn't checked none of my text messages, my Facebook page, all that's just blown up with Happy Easter, Jesus this, Jesus that, everything. It's the day He has risen. I get all kind of stuff in my inbox from my people and my friends and relatives about this, and I haven't responded to any of them, so I'm going to see if next year they're going to continue to include me in it. If I don't never give a response, we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, well,
so I'm hoping that one year they just leave me out the loop.
Well, that's good, because you don't be bothered with and entangled with that confusion that they have abounding in their thinking. So that's good. Let them exclude you. They're doing you a favor.
I'm hoping they'll get to that point. Yeah.
Sharon, while I have you on the phone, do you have my book's Historical Origin of Christianity?
Do I have what now? I'm sorry.
A copy of my book, The Historical Origin of Christianity.
Yes, I got it. I bought it when you came down to the event we had.
Now you didn't buy it. I gave it to you.
Oh, that's right. I can't remember if I did or didn't. But your memory probably better than mine.
Now here's what I want you to do, Sheriff. I want you to go get that book, and I want you to turn to the introduction to my book, The Historical Origin of Christianity. And I want you to read that introduction every day for 30 days. Okay?
Okay, will do.
Do you understand my instructions to you?
Yes, sir. Get the book.
I want you to read the instructions. I want you to read the introduction to
for 30 days.
For 30 days, the introduction to the historical origin of Christianity. And I want every person that's listening out there, including Tamika, including the rest of the listening audience. I want you to, if you have my book, The Historical Origin of Christianity, go and I want you to turn to the introduction of that book. And I want you to read that introduction every day for 30 days and see if it doesn't transform you, get you regulated in the thinking, and bring some knowledge to your thinking and thoughts about our ancestors, your ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. I guarantee you, if you read the introduction to my book, The Historical Origin of Christianity, for 30 days, once a day for 30 days, you'll be transformed into a different person. You'll be acclimated back to your ancient Egyptian ancestors, and you'll see what greatness that you are a descendant of. That's what I want you to do. That's my assignment to you, Sister Sharon.
All right, I accept the assignment. I like assignments, so I will accept it.
Okay, and you tell me next time I'm on how you coming along with it.
Will do.
Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, and thank you for calling, Sharon.
All right, thanks.
May I Hotep.
May I Hotep, sister. All right. Let me go back over here and go ahead, Dr. Williams.
Well, I want to say this, Brother Tarhaka. Last time we were on, which was March the 29th, 2 weeks ago, there was a young brother that called up and asked me a question. I'd like for him, if he's listening, call back because I didn't quite understand his question. So after listening to the tape that we were on the 29th of March, I understand his question a little better. I'd like to give him an answer to that, okay? The brother that called in, he was the only caller that we had 2 weeks ago on our show, the 29th of March. So if that brother is listening, call me, and I want to clear up some things for him, okay? So if you're listening, brother, call in.
All right. 319-527-6084. Brother, if you're out there listening, press 1 on the phone. That'll give me an indication you got something to say, and I can open up the phone line. 319-527-6084. Press 1 on your phone because tonight we're dealing with answering your questions, and we're hearing your comments. And so go ahead and come on in and let us know what's on your mind. Okay? All right. Now, Dr. Williams.
Yes, sir.
The more I think about it, I can't see how or why a bunny rabbit was attached to this holiday with chicken eggs. I can't understand where that came from. What kind of business is that, and what did that have to do with a homemade creature by the name of Jesus Christ being resurrected from somewhere? And all of this business, and if we throw in a rabbit with some chicken eggs, I can't. There's no logical explanation that I could come up with, and it's I don't even think I want to do the time to try to research it. It might try to try to say that's the way it's supposed to be or something. So I'm scared to even try to look at some stuff like that.
Well, I don't blame you, Brother Tarhaka, and me either. So the best thing I can do is for you to ask the Pope or ask a minister or reverend. So if you have a church where you live, so therefore if you see the minister of that church, call him outside and ask him that question, and then bring the answer back on this program when you get that answer. Because I don't have an answer for that. I'm not going to rack my brain, my mind, to try to come up with one, because it doesn't make sense. So,
no, it sure don't.
Resurrection of some kind of Christ, So that's would be my answer and attitude towards that question. Brother Tarhaka?
All right. Brother Yoel?
Yes, sir.
What else on your mind, man? Hold on a second here. Area code 910.
Yes, I have a question, Dr. Williams. So when you talk about the vernal equinox, why is it this Jesus Christ, they don't have a set death date for him?
Because of the vernal equinoxes. Keeps changing every year, every season, every year. It changes because of the movement of the earth and the sun. The sun is set, it sticks, it doesn't move. The earth revolves around the sun. So therefore, that vernal equinox, the date changes for the resurrection, and that's the reason. Now, what was the other part of the question?
I think that was the question.
Okay,
I just couldn't understand why they don't have a set death date, and that too should, like you said, when so and so has died, passed away, there's a set date, but there's no set date for this Jesus the Christ, and
correct.
That should give. That should cause Christians to kind of question. And another question I guess I have along the lines is where did this whole they go over, where do they go every year? His birthplace or death place? Is it Israel? Where do they take that trip to? Is it Israel those Christians go to, and where he supposedly, they tell the story of where the rock was pulled back, and Mary Magdalene saw him come out to where he was supposedly buried. Is that in Israel?
Well, they have a couple of burial spots for this Christ. They have the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. That's one of the main ones, you see. And then over in India, the Indians said at one time, a Muslim sect over in India, the Hammurabis, they is an Indian Islamic sect over in India. They said that Christ did not die on the cross, was not crucified on the cross, that he was taken down unconscious from the cross, taken to India and revived, and was buried in Kashmir. You see, so this is what they're saying. So you're going to have different places, but the main place of the burial of this Jesus in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre there in Jerusalem. And this is why they say that Jerusalem is a holy land. They call it the Holy Land because the three major Western religions is represented over there. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where this Jesus is buried, the Dome of the Rock, or the Omar Dome over there for the Muslims, where Muhammad is supposed to have resurrected from, and then you have the Wailing Wall over there in Jerusalem, where the Jews go
and they butt their head and beat their head against the wall and mumble all kinds of funny sounds and so forth and so on. So that is those two places that I know of. This they said that this Christ was buried there in Jerusalem at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and there in Kashmir, India. There in Kashmir, India, they're supposed to have a holy separate ground for the burial of Jesus there.
I see. Another question I have is in terms of the so-called Prophet Muhammad. The history books, I mean, no matter what history book you read, they always want to refer to the Moors as Islamic, and that dates 15th century, 14th, and back. But like you stated, there was no Quran until 1925 or so, when they came together and
1919. It was accepted by the Arab world in 1919. You're dealing with two Islams. You're dealing with one, Mohammedanism, that was brought forth by the Ottoman Turks and the Ottoman Turkish Empire in 1300. Derived from the disciples and the teachings of one Ibn al-Arabi, who had an alias of Muhammad. Ibn al-Arabi, alias Muhammad. He was born in Spain in 1165, died in Egypt in 1240. But a year before he died, his disciples began to preach his philosophy all over, they call it the Middle East. Okay, over in Northeast Africa, started preaching in Egypt and so forth and so on. And then when the Ottoman Turks came to power in 1300, they took a sword, because now the Ottoman Turks had usurped all of the land that was been held by the Roman emperors at that time. So they usurped all the Roman emperors' land and down to the double-walled city of Constantinople, except for that city, double-walled city of Constantinople. And they took a sword and went to all of the people under their domain in Egypt, in North Africa, in Northeast Africa, in Turkey, etc., etc. They took a sword and put up to the people's throat and said, Muhammad or die. So therefore, you rather to die, you say Islam alaikum. So that is how.
And this happened. This happened when they took the sword. When did that happen?
1300.
1300. Okay.
By the Ottoman Turks.
By the Ottoman Turks. Okay.
Right, and that causes what is known as Mohammedanism. Now, Mohammedanism was also put upon the Moors because they lived in North Africa, you see. And they became under that sword too, that threat under that sword. So therefore, they succumbed to that threat. So they became Mohammedans, you see. And a lot of people think today, not knowing the difference between Mohammedanism and today's Islam is based off of a book called the Quran. That's what today's Islam is based off of, a book called the Quran. So you have two forms of Islam. You have Mohammedanism that began by force from the Ottoman Turks by taking the sword, putting up to the throats of the people living in these lands I told you, such as Egypt and all along North Africa, those countries along North Africa, Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Mauritania, and in Turkey, etc., etc. And they forced those people to accept Mohammedanism or die. Muhammad or die. So in 1870, the AIU, the Alliance Israelite Universal of Paris, France, the first Zionist organization ever formed on planet Earth, the AIU, Alliance Israelite Universal of Paris, France, they set up schools along North Africa, and then in Northeast Africa. They in Northeast Africa, in Syria, they began to formulate what is known today as the Quran for the Mohammedan world. You see, because those Arabs over there was practicing Mohammedanism based off of the teachings of one Muhyiddin Ibn al-Arabi. Okay? And once that was done, they realized that, the AIU I'm talking about, realized that those people in that area that I just mentioned had no literature. So what they did, if you read my book, The Historical Origin of Christianity, and you go to the chapter where it says how they took the life and the biography of one Ibn al-Arabi to create today's Islam. So they sit down in 1870, this group of scholars from Paris, France, the AIU, Alliance Israelite University of Paris, France, sit down and they formulated literature for the Mohammedan world, which is, that literature is known today as the Holy Quran. Now, that was in 1870. It was not accepted until a year after World War I was ended. World War I is 1914 to 1918, when the British government toppled the Ottoman Empire by defeating the Germans and the Ottoman Turks. So a year after the war, in 1919, the Mohammedan world accepted this Quran. And that's how you got today's Quran and today's Islam, two Islams. So that's how Mohammedan came into being by way of the Moors, because it was forced on them by the Ottoman Turks with the sword. Anything else, Vika?
Thank you.
Okay. And thank you for calling.
I'd like to add something to what she said. She asked the question, how come it's not a fixed date? It depends on which one of them God's son you're talking about. If it's a fixed date with respect to SUN, the only unfixed date is the one that's SON. All right.
Well, now I have a question.
I don't agree with that, Brother Yoel, because today's Easter is predicated on the vernal equinox.
Mm-hmm.
The vernal equinox has something to do with nature and the sun, the real sun, and the earth.
Right.
And that's the reason why it changes from year to year. Because
that's why I said it was. That's why I said it was fixed. It's exact with respect to which sun, depending on what sun you're talking about. The SUN, it is.
Well, let's get down to basics now. We're talking about today's Easter.
Right.
That's the question. Today's Easter is predicated on the vernal equinox, and it has nothing to do with the SON. It has something to do with nature. Okay? Due to the sun.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Huh?
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, Okay, go ahead.
The SON is the one that ain't got no fixed date. It always changes, and they ain't questioned. The SUN happens exactly when it's supposed to every year.
Correct. Absolutely correct. So I missed your question. I say I missed your question and I missed your answer. I apologize to you. You are absolutely correct.
Right. No problem. Well, you should have said something, Tarhaka, before I jumped in there.
Yeah, I have a question. Cause we got with today's Easter, we got Jesus supposed to have been crucified and put in a tomb on Friday. And then he raised from the dead on Sunday, and he's supposed to be in 3 days. Now, I'm trying to figure out how we going to get from Friday sunset until Saturday sunset is 24 hours. And from Saturday sunset until Sunday sunset, he's supposed to be raised from the dead. How we going to get 3 days in there? We got 48 hours, but they're saying there was 72. What happened over there? That's a fiasco there.
That's another one they ain't thinking about. Yeah, that's another one.
We got Good Friday, then we got Saturday, and then we got Easter Sunday. He's supposed to have risen.
They don't think about it. So they ain't got no answer for that one.
Well, see, they can get away with that, Brother Tarhaka, because you're talking to a person or people that embraces Christianity. And when you embrace Christianity or any religion, I don't care what it is, all religions are man-made. But we're talking about Christianity now. A Christian don't have to think. A Muslim, Hindu, Black Hebrew Israelite, Jew, all those religions consist of non-thinkers. When you go to a church, you don't have to think. Why? Because you believe. That's the problem. You believe. You don't have to think. There's no thinking there when you believe something. What's the thinking? What you gonna think about? Think about what you believe. You see? So they can take any story, no matter how ridiculous it may be, and feed it to the Christians out there, and they'll believe it, especially if it's coming from the minister or some person of authority or some teacher, whatever the case might be, that they look up to. See? So they believe what is taught to them because they come into the church believing. They don't come in there asking questions, with an inquisitive mind, with an inquiring mind. They don't do that. They come in there with their package. In their package, they have a dead white man on the cross. It's called Jesus Christ. They have this Bible, who is not a history book, but a book of ideas and book of fictions, allegories, and metaphors, and outright lies. And they have God in their package. So therefore, all these things in their package, they have to believe in. So therefore, you get non-thinkers. You don't have to think. Just believe. You see? And this is what is happening out here today. People are out here not knowing anything based on facts, not using their minds to think with, but just coming out here with a belief. And a belief does not give you knowledge. Belief and faith does not give you knowledge. So therefore, you can believe all you want to. That means that you're telling me, when you say, I believe this, you're telling me that you do not know the facts, that you do not know anything about what you believe in. You have to rely on belief instead of doing some critical thinking and research on your own about what's being presented to you to believe in. So that is what's going on out here. And that's the reason why you have all this chaos out here. One has to remember this. If you can really understand what I'm about to tell you, you can eliminate and save yourself from disaster. If you can realize that no human on earth of any race, creed, or color was born with a religion. Now you have 8 billion human beings out here of all races, creeds, and color. And every human out here, all 8 billion, came into this world as a human being, the same as every other human being that came in. You came into this world free of all religions. There's nothing on your birth certificate that says that you are a Christian, a Muslim, Black Hebrew Israelite, or a Jew, or a Buddhist, or a Hindu. No man-made religion. So therefore you were born free of all of that. But someone in your life that was responsible for you growing up introduced you to a religion, whether it's Christianity, whether it's Islam, whether it's Black Hebrew Israelitism, whether it's Judaism, whether it's Buddhism, Hinduism, Zoroastrianism, any type of man-made religion. They introduce you to this religion, so that's how you end up in these various religions. Not knowing how you got there, but it was done by whoever raised you as a child. They indoctrinated in you a religion, one or the other. See? So therefore you were born free. So if you can understand that you were not born with a religion, go in the bathroom, look in the mirror and say, I, the image that look back at you, talk to it and say, I was not born with a religion. Man created the religion for man to control the thinking and the actions of man. That's why religions were created. You were not born with a religion. You know nothing about these various religions because religions are based off of one's belief. And they're not going to teach you the foundation and the origin of these various religions like I taught you 2 weeks ago. The history and origin of Christianity, I narrated that step by step as it evolved using the discipline of history. They're not going to tell you that. But man created these religions for you to control your thinking and your actions. See? So therefore, that takes you away from your own humanity because religion steals your humanity away from you as an individual human. Okay? It fools you. Okay? It creates confusion in your life. There are side effects. When you embrace a religion of any kind, these religions will give you side effects. The first side effect is confusion. Why are you confused? Because you, the human being, has never been taught about your own personal humanity. And this is where you need to start with. Learn about your own personal humanity. Who am I as a human being? What was I given as a human being at the time of my birth, as I came out of my mother's womb? What did I have in my humanity and my human anatomy that is still there, but no one told me about it? Who am I? So therefore, they, instead of telling you about your pineal gland and about how it sits in the middle of your brain as a conduit and a receiver and a sender between you, the human being, and your personal universe. Every human has his own personal universe. They live in it. You walk around in your personal universe 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, by way of the connection between your personal pineal gland that sits in the middle of your brain, the bottom of your pineal gland, are your nostrils. And what do you do with your nostrils? You take air to keep you, the human being, alive, to keep life flowing through your body, to keep you in tune with your consciousness. So therefore, every human has that pineal gland that they were born with. Every human being walks around in their personal universe where they can create things. They become little creators. You can create anything that you conceive by way of thought coming from you, the human being, through your conduit, the pineal gland, from your universe. You can create these things. So every human possesses that of all race, creeds, and color. Now, we are little creators. We can create things. But individually, a man cannot create anything with life in it by himself. Individually, a female by herself cannot create anything with life in it by herself. So everything you see around you in your environment that you are in at this very moment that I'm talking, everything you see, if you see a lamp or a rug or a table or a chair, a desk, or books, or whatever you see, everything you see is dead unless you have a human being in the room where you are or in your presence. You see? But everything else was created by man. There has no life in it. You, I, Tarhaka, Brother Yoel, nobody can create anything with life in it. Okay? No female can create anything with life in it. The only way pro-life comes about is that the male and the female has a sexual intercourse, and the male releases his sperm, and the female's egg receives the sperm, and that receiving of the sperm by the female causes 9 months of incubation for the process of the human being to come into fruition. That causes us, me, you, everybody that's listening in this audience to come into this world as a human. That's the only way you're going to get here. But now, if you separate my mother and my father away from each other, no sexual intercourse, they cannot create anything with life in it by themselves. No human can do that. You see? So therefore, the first side effect is confusion, because you know nothing about the subconscious mind, you know nothing about your conscious mind, you know nothing about your pineal gland, you know nothing about your universe that you live in, that you got 8 billion humans walking this earth living in their personal universe. You see? You don't know anything about that. So therefore, you are confused. These religions confuse you. They put in your mind something that's not natural. Religions, all religions, are unnatural. All religions will steal your humanity away, devalue your spirituality, devalue your humanity, devalue your ancestors. You don't want that. So you need to come out of these religions so you can stop this confusion and go back and study. You have to study now. It's work now, because, see, in believing, sitting up in the church, you don't have to do no work. Just come in there and believe and bow up and down and worship your enemy on the cross, that dead white man on the cross, which is your enemy. That's all you have to do. So, therefore, these religions are creating confusion in your life. That's the first side effect. The second side effect, it causes one not to think. It limits your thinking. It incarcerates your mind, these religions of any kind. When a person is incarcerated into a jail cell in prison. He is given limited space to live in, to do everything in a 6x9 space or whatever space they give the incarcerated person. So therefore, when you embrace a religion, you are incarcerating your thinking. That's the second side effect. It limits your thinking. You cannot think outside of this religion. Now, imagine if our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, had embraced a religion, how could they build the greatest edifice ever been built by man, the Great Pyramid? How could they create all forms of mathematics in order for them to build and for anybody to build today as I speak? How they had a limited thinking, they would be illiterate today because they thought of a system called the alphabet. With that alphabet, if you learn it, that's the first thing you learn in school. You are able to read, write, and spell with that alphabet. That makes an individual literate. They all came out of the culture of our ancestors. That's the reason why I told Sister Sharon and anybody else who has my book, The Historical Origin of Christianity, to go and read the introduction to that book, The Historical Origin of Christianity. Read it for once a day for 30 days, and I bet you'll be transformed. And you can understand better of who you are, and you will understand better of who your ancestors are. So the second side effect is it limits your thinking. So you don't want your thinking limited because it stunts your growth as a human being when you have limited thinking. The third side effect is animation. Now, what do I mean by that? Today is Easter. The preachers out there in the churches today telling his congregation by radio or by home Skyping, etc., or whatever means that they have to tell their congregation today because they cannot assemble in these various churches because of this virus that's going around. So they are telling their parishioners that this Jesus was resurrected. They tell their parishioners that Mary Magdalene came to the tomb of Jesus as he was crucified on the cross, and that the grave was empty, that this Jesus went on up to heaven to be with his Father, God. Now, when that story is told, that causes an individual human to animate that story that was told to him. He can see this Jesus being coming up out of the grave, rising up out of the grave, going up into heaven, etc., etc. When he is told how Jesus was crucified on the cross by being nailed to the cross and so forth and so on, he's carrying his cross on Calvary and so forth and so on to be crucified. The believer uses his mind to animate that story that's been told to him. When he is told that Mary and Joseph went into Bethlehem and went into to get a room at the inn, and they had baby Jesus with them, and the innkeeper said, "We have no room for you." So therefore, they went and left the hotel or wherever it was, this inn, and they went and found a manger in a barn, and he put baby Jesus in this makeshift manger, and 3 wise men came from the east bearing gifts, and you heard the story over and over and over again. So that triggers your imagination. You make these stories real in your life. You magnify them. You make it real, and you, by way of your belief, I believe this because I can see it. Because you're using your imagination. That's the third side effect. And the fourth side effect is fear. They tell you that if you do not believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, you're going to die and go to hell. And that is fear that they force upon the believer. Because the believer, by him being a believer, doesn't know or do not know anything about facts because he hasn't researched anything. He don't have to. All you got to do is believe it. Believe what is being told to you without investigation. So I could go on and on and on, but this is some of the things, some of the realities that we have to face and come face to face with in order for us to understand what has happened to us as a people present day, and we need to find out what happened to our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, in the past. See? Because if you don't know that, you have no foundation. We have to get back as a people. You got 53, 55, or 47 million Africans living in this country who does not have a land to identify with. They have no land. We can't. There's no place in Africa for us. But there is a culture that's unclaimed, and that culture is hidden from us. The culture that I'm talking about came by way of a people, an African people, living in Africa, in Egypt. Okay, that's no longer there. The descendants of the Africans are here in America. Let me tell you a little story. Back in 1997, the Black Physicians Association of Cook County Hospital, a place where I was born and a place where my daughter was born, they asked me to come in to give a lecture on Black History Month during that year, 1997 or 96, one of those years back there. And I came in and I gave the lecture, and everybody was enjoyed for what I had to say in the lecture and so forth and so on. So they took me, these doctors, took me aside to pay me and give me my honorarium. And with them, I asked them a question. It says, doctors, why don't you call your organization the Imhotep Physicians Association of Cook County Hospital instead of the Black Physicians of Cook County Hospital? I said, this way, if you add Imhotep Physicians Association, then you will give in credit and glory to our ancestors, your ancestors, ancient Egyptians, where Imhotep in Egypt was supposed to be the deity of medicine, the first physician to bring forth the practice of medicine as we know it today, back during the time of antiquity. I said, so you will be giving credit and give credit to your and our African ancestors, the ancient Egyptians. So one of the doctors asked me, he said, how do you know that we are a descendant of the ancient Egyptians? I said, well, let me ask you this, doctor. I said, do you believe that an African people known in history as the ancient Egyptians, do you believe that they built the Great Pyramid? And he says, yes. And you believe that they walked this earth and did just that. Is that correct? He said, yes. I said, do you believe during the time of antiquity, a people known then and known today as the Greeks walked this earth? Do you agree to that? He said, yes. I said, do you also agree that a people by the name of the Romans, known today as the Italians, walked this earth as human beings? Do you agree to that during the time of antiquity? He says, yes. I said, now, let's go back. Today, as I speak, the Greek descendants are walking this earth, and they're calling themselves Greeks, identifying with their ancestors from antiquity. I said, today, the Romans' ancestors are walking this earth, identifying with the Romans, but calling themselves Italians. Is that correct? He says, yes. I said, let me ask you this question. Where are the descendants of the ancient Egyptians? And he looked at me, he bucked his eyes, And he was startled. I said, did they vanish? They got to be somewhere on earth. Now, early in my studies, I ran across a book called God Wills the Negro by Theodore P. Ford. In this book, God Wills the Negro, Theodore P. Ford was showing in this book American Negro women and showing the ancient Egyptians look-alike. In other words, he's saying that the Negroes today and the ancient Egyptians are one and the same. He also went on to say in that book that the ancient Egyptians vanished and the Negro appeared. The ancient Egyptian vanished and the Negro appeared. So now it is time for us to get back to the consciousness and the awareness of us as a people, because we, under the names that we call ourselves, Black, Negro, and African American, Black and Negro is synonymous, a name given to the descendants of the ancient Egyptians by the Spanish, after the Spanish asked the ancient Egyptians to come into Spain to civilize them in the middle of the 11th century. See? So therefore, and the African American name was a creation within 100 years ago by different scholars and so forth and so on, including Jesse Jackson. So with those names, Black, Negro, African American, it only takes you back to slavery. Our history did not start with slavery. Our history started with the ancient Egyptians. We are descendants of the oldest and the first oldest civilized people on planet Earth. I cannot reiterate that. I cannot reiterate that as much as I should be reiterated. It should be reiterated over and over and over again until you understand who you are, who your ancestors are. That's the reason why I asked Sharon and every person out there in the listening audience who have a copy of my book, The Historical Origin of Christianity, go back and read the introduction to that book once a day for 30 days. And I guarantee you, you will have a different mindset. So that's what I have to say, Brother Tarhaka. It's getting close to the time of closing, so I don't want to go on and on and on. So I'll turn it back over to you, my brother Tarhaka.
All right, we got a caller with a phone hand raised. I'm opening up the line at area code 917. Area code 917, you're on the air. 917, you're on the air. 917.
I guess New York got a little nervous.
He's trying to talk. I hear him talking back there, but he's not coming through. Maybe he has some kind of problem.
I can't hear anything. I'm going to close the line and then reopen it. See if that helps. All right.
Hello?
Hello. Hold on 1 second, Tamika. Area code 917. Can you hear me? (917), you're on the air. Okay. Not getting any feedback. But go ahead, Tamika. What were you about to say?
Yes, a question about, so the printing press was created by Johannes Gutenberg around 1440. When
37.
And say that again?
1437.
1437. Okay. And then so Desiderius Erasmus' works came about around 1466.
No, 15, 16. Read my book, Mika. Read my book, sweetheart, and take notes. And take those notes and put it in your memory. It's right there in my books. The historical origin of Christianity and the historical origin of Islam. Desiderius Erasmus came forth with what is known today as the New Testament in 1516 for the Roman Catholic Church.
You said 1516?
Yes, it's in the book, Tamika.
Okay.
Now, the impossibility of there ever being somebody named John the Baptist. And I say that because of the time period when the alphabet J was created. No John the Baptist, no John, no Jesus, no Joseph, no Jeremiah, none of the J's.
Correct.
Is that right?
That's correct. But see, all John the Baptist, all that came about when Christianity, the seed of Christianity, left northeast Africa out of the double-walled city of Constantinople, out of the world's first Christian church, the Hagia Sophia, when it was imminent that the Ottoman emperors would come through and break through the double-walled city of Constantinople and seize Constantinople. Constantinople today is known as Istanbul, Turkey, and seize Constantinople and seize the world's Christian church, the Hagia Sophia, which they did. Walmart II in 1453 used a cannon to blow a hole through the wall of Constantinople and enter that city by way of blowing a hole through that wall. And he seized the city as well as the world's first Christian church. So, but 14 years before that, knowing it was imminent that was going to happen, John VIII moved the seat of Christianity into Europe, like I mentioned earlier, in 1439. And then 6 years later, in 1445, they began to build over the catacombs St. Peter's Church, known today as St. Peter's Basilica. The building of the Vatican, again, was done by an African people known as the Moors. Why? Because the Europeans did not have enough technology and knowledge to build buildings, because you have to know mathematics to build anything. So, and the Vatican today is laid out as a replica of the double-walled city of Constantinople. See? So one has to know that. So there was no John the Baptist. When Christianity moved, they changed the format. They changed and tried to erase the history that I narrated 2 weeks ago. I narrated their history, human history. See, I narrated it. And they erased that, and they put in its place that the whole world is receiving today, European Christianity, with the Last Supper, as I mentioned, attached stories to it, to feed to the believer, to make the believer believe it. Which is the Last Supper is only drawn by Leonardo da Vinci with attached stories. Leonardo da Vinci drew the crucifixion of a Christ, and they put attached stories to that to feed to the believer, to make the believer think that this Christ was crucified. You see, and he drew a picture of Mary Magdalene and the tomb of Jesus and all that. Then, along with the stories and the fiction that was created in today's Christianity, John the Baptist was come forth. Now, where do you find John the Baptist? Out of the Bible. So therefore, when the Bible was created, you have a whole army of biblical characters marching out of that Bible. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Sarah, Gideon, Esau, David, Solomon, Joshua, and it goes on. And and John the Baptist was one of them. All coming from narrative stories written in the Bible, fed to the masses of people throughout the world in order to erase what I had narrated to you 2 weeks ago, the history and the origin of Christianity, how it actually began and how it began, and what process that the Melchites and the Monophysites, who were creators of this religion or this image called Christ for the European. They did that for the European. So John the Baptist, where you find in the Bible. When was the Bible first come on the scene of history? Okay? It came on the scene of history during the time of the Renaissance era. After the printing press was invented, 1437. That was in 1437. It was 50 years. The Renaissance era had begun. Okay, 50 years prior to Johannes Gutenberg printing and his printing press, inventing the printing press, 1437. So the Renaissance era was already in vogue for 50 years before the printing press was printed. Now, when the printing press was printed, the capitalists had bought that printing press or confiscated that printing press from Johannes Gutenberg because he borrowed money from a capitalist by the name of Johannes Fust, F-U-S-T. And he couldn't pay that loan back because there was not only the loan, but there was interest fees attached to that loan. He couldn't pay it back, and so the machine was confiscated. You see, so and once it was confiscated by Johannes Fust, the capitalist, he came up with the right idea because the seed of Christianity had been moved from Africa into Europe now. So now the Europeans are going to get indoctrinated into Christianity. You see? So he came ahead of the game, and he came up with the right idea of a Bible. And the Bible, the first printed Bible was in 1479. Now, and in that Bible came biblical characters, such as the ones I mentioned through the years. They put John the Baptist in there, and just as Erasmus put in Mark, Matthew, and Luke, and in the King James Version, John was the fourth gospel, and so forth and so on. So now, not next week, but on the last Sunday of this month, Brother Tarhaka, if it's okay with I'd like to give a lecture on the history of the Bibles. The history of the Bibles. See, all people need in the African community, they need to know this history of what happened and what has happened to us and what has happened to all of humanity by these various religions and how they got to be, how the Bible came about. We need to know that. So I'm going to narrate the historical origin of the Bibles with an S on the end, because there are many different Bibles being produced and through the years, and what year, who produced it. I'll bring you all of that. So if that's okay with you, I'd like to give that.
Fine. He was the first one to start getting into the world order.
What was that now?
It's the church. You put all your money in one spot.
You muffled. You sound muffled.
Area
Who is
code 917. You on the air?
I can't act like I can't see, think, hear.
Can't hear you. Breaking up.
They don't think. All they think about that shit all day.
What is your name?
Okay.
Hello.
I said that down. Let me go back over here. 117. Area code 917. You're on the air. Can you hear us? Okay. All right. Anyway, Dr. Williams, we only have 9 minutes and a few seconds left. You want to give us some closing remarks, Brother Yoel, and I have Tamika's line open in the last 9 minutes.
I just want to ask. Can I ask a quick question? So you'll be back on the end of April, right?
Tarhaka?
Yeah.
Dr. Williams
Tamika
will be back on the show.
Asking, we'll be doing the last Sunday in April. Yes, we'll be on the air.
Which will be 2 weeks from today.
Okay. I'm going to put it on my calendar.
Okay. All right. Brother Yoel, last remark.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As one country boy to another, you know I was born and raised in the South. You know that, don't you? I told you that, didn't I? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't leave. Yeah, they didn't run me out of there until I went off to college, you know. So,
okay.
Anyway, so I hope you don't take any kind of way when I be jugging at you with your southern
man,
slap.
No, that don't bother. I already know I'm coming.
So, yeah, well, I just want to let you know I'm your southern cousin up here in the north, okay? So,
okay.
Anyway, well, I just want to say, of course, the Underground Bookstore again can be reached if anybody looking for them rare and unusual, hard to find books and whatnot. They can call me at 773-768-8869, 773-768-8869 in Chicago, or email me at theundergroundbookstore@gmail.com, theundergroundbookstore@gmail.com, or undergroundbookstore1@gmail.com. So be waiting for the calls and the emails for those people who are searching for books, or if you know what you want already, just give me a call or email me, and we'll get you that book. And thank you very much, Tarhaka, once again for being the brother of the hour, on the hour, and letting us have these shares, these airways with you here, and letting the professor educate everybody and let me drag my 2 cents in. Thank you very much for that, and appreciate you.
You're welcome, my brother. Dr. Williams.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm looking for some last remarks.
Well, like I said before, we have to find our way back to ancient Egypt. Very, very crucial for us to do that. And we have to know who we are as an African people. I'm not talking about individually. Don't tell me about, I know who I am. My mother and my father, my grandfather. Not that. No. We got to know who we are collectively. 53, 55 million, 47 million Africans in this country. Identifying yourself by way of a name. That name does not equate to land. If your name that you call yourself does not have a history that's attached to land, then you are a people without a history, without a history that you know as a people. So you have to get back and unify around the greatest people that's ever existed on planet Earth. A greatest people known in history as the ancient Egyptians. Those are Africans. So we have to unify around that. We have to come into that knowledge. And once we enter that knowledge, then we can begin to evolve and stop revolving. The questions, since today is Easter, and about this Jesus, et cetera, I want to ask the Christians a question. Christians, Do you think that the white race will take their children and their family into a church where a big black African Jesus is hanging on the wall and teach their children and their family that this big black African Jesus is their God and Savior? Do you think they would do that? Want me to give you the answer? Hell no. And you know that answer to be true as no. That's the true answer. You know that. So then why are you doing it? Why are you taking your family into these churches and bowing down and prostrating yourself before your enemy on the cross? That same dead white man who represent white supremacy. The symbol, the icon, and the image of white supremacy is institutionalized in every Christian church throughout the world and throughout America. The church is the institution that houses white supremacy by way of that image on that cross. Okay? So you have to know what you are doing and why are you doing it. Question yourself, am I out of my mind? What's wrong here? I'm going into a church and bowing down to a white man that has put us into slavery, lynched us, Jim Crowed us, dehumanized us, and made us inferior, supposedly had made us inferior. Impossible to do that. But he tried anyway. And we're going to go down and worship him? You must be out of your mind. Something is wrong with you. Question for all Christians. What is the name of your African God that looks like you? What is his name? Give me the name. I've asked many Christians that, and they have never come up with a name. I asked many Christians, and Tarhaka, I've asked many Christians also, have you ever seen God? They said no. Then why do you believe in God? See, that means that you don't know anything about your own humanity. You don't read enough books. You don't listen to different preachers. And preachers come out and teach their congregation that God created man in his own image. That means that God is a man. And they tell the women that God, the women was created from the rib of a man. And they sit up in the church and don't say nothing to old Reverend for telling that lie. They know that's a damn lie. So that eliminates your mother and father having sex then. If all women were created from the rib of a man, don't let nobody tell you that. That's a lie. So you have to begin to think. So, and once you begin to think, you can be able to come out of this dilemma that we are in as a people, that you're in as a human being. And we can get out of this by finding our way back to ancient Egypt. Now, I want to sing a little song to you very quick. And the song that I'm going to sing to you, I want you to listen to it. There is room, the pyramid, for you. There is room at the pyramid, oh, for you. Millions have come and millions have gone, but there's still room at the pyramid for you. There is room at the pyramid for you. There is room at the pyramid, oh, for you. You may be poor or you may be rich, but there's still room at the pyramid for you. Now, when you come to the pyramid, I want you to meet me at the pyramid. All you African descendants out there who call yourselves blacks and Negroes and African Americans, I want you to meet me at the pyramid, but I want you to bring your Ankh with you. The Ankh is a symbol of life coming out of ancient Egypt. Don't bring that cross. because the cross is a symbol of death. A dead white man on the cross. Don't bring that with you. Discard that. Throw it in the garbage and pick up your arm and meet me at the pyramid, because I'm waiting for you. The ancient Egyptians, our ancestors, are waiting for you at the pyramid. So I want to meet you at the pyramid. There is room at the pyramid for you. So I want you to remember that. I want to leave you with that, Brother Tarhaka, and leave the listening audience with.
All right, my brother. I certainly appreciate you being on here. And until, let's see, the 26th of this month, we'll be back on, and we're going to deal with the history of the Bible. But anyway, my brother, I'd like to say may out hotep, and until next time, peace.
May out hotep to you, my brother.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, I've been your host, Tarhaka Amana El Bay, and until next time, y'all have a good night.